Hello guys, welcome back on Franco Montana's channel. Today is a special occasion because I have the possibility to speak directly with Jordan Lindsey, the CIO and founder of BitcoinGrowthBot, an interesting lending platform that we are following since 3 weeks. So, now we can start our Skype call. Okay, let's go. Hi Jordan, here is Franco Montana, nice to meet you.
Hi Franco, so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for doing the interview in English.
Oh, thank you, you're welcome. But first of all, I want to say thank you for sharing your time with us. Today we have the chance to talk about BitcoinGrowthBot, analyze it together and understand the characteristics of this interesting project. So, let's start with our interview if you're ready.
My pleasure to be here and to discuss this project with you and share it with all of you. Thank you.
Nice, nice. So first thing I want to ask is, who is Jordan Lindsey? Can you tell us more about your life, your career and jobs?
Sure. So above all, I'm a child of God, right? I'm a husband and a father, and that's the most important thing in life to me. Now, prior to meeting my wife, I was actually studying in the seminary for the Catholic priesthood, and I was volunteering in Bosnia-Herzegovina. Many in Italy are very familiar with Medjugorje, and I was spending my summer volunteering, helping serve, and I met my wife, and we fell in love. And you know, God had given me the gift I always desired deepest, was marriage and family. And but prior to that, I got my first job in finance out of college, and it was in lease financing. Basically, when businesses were looking for money, we would discern whether or not through their balance sheets, if how much money they could borrow, at what rate to pay it back, and we would lend them money. From there, with the vice president of the company, I went off at the age of 24 to start my own leasing company. And that's when I got into the markets, to the equity markets. And I spent, after work, all of my time, an extra 40 hours a week, studying the markets, reading every book possible, and this became my passion.
Yeah, so that's good, that's really good. I mean, my second question is, since how long do you trade in Forex market and in cryptocurrencies market?
Sure. After first starting in the equity markets, trading for a private firm as one of their traders, I then discovered the foreign exchange market. And you know, the U.S. equity market is really tiny. It's like well, last I checked, it was like a $5 or $3 billion market, daily trading volume. And the foreign exchange is a $5 trillion market. It's enormous.
Yeah.
It's where all banks, multinational conglomerates trade, and that was 2003 when I first got into the Forex markets.
So it's so long time that you are trading on Forex already.
That's right.
When did you start to work about the BitcoinGrowthBot project?
Bitcoin, right? So, you know, being involved in the financial markets, I heard about Bitcoin a long time ago, but I was aware of Bitcoin, but I was not interested in investing in it because just like I didn't focus at all on the equity markets, I was the Forex markets. And but then it was around, I think Bitcoin had crashed all the way around to $250, and I started really researching it, watching a lot of documentaries and try to understand exactly what this Bitcoin and the blockchain were.
Sure.
And it was great. It was interesting. I love learning everything new. But it wasn't until later that Bitcoin was trading around $800 that I said, oh my goodness, what am I doing? I need to actually buy some Bitcoin. And that's when I first purchased my first Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people is trying to jump in this market, but it's very hard to decide exactly the exact moment to jump in and start to trade. So about your project, I mean, is since how long exactly? I mean, is an idea that you had months ago, you have recently? What about this? About Bitcoin
Yeah,
Growth
so
Bot?
this all came about. This all came about because I got introduced to this platform, BitConnect,
Yeah.
and so at first I thought, wow, this website is, I don't even know what it does, but then you know, friends kept mentioning it, so I looked at it again and I realized, well, the website doesn't matter. It's what this lending model is that's important, and you know. I researched the company and I found out, well, they have this volatility trading bot, or they mention it, but no one knows if it exists. And a lot of people are saying, hey, watch out, this is a pyramid scheme. And I don't know that it is or it isn't, because they're really not transparent about having a bot. So I did the math and I figured out, well, since they had mined this 1.5 million tokens in the beginning, and now that's trading at $60, there's an enormous amount of market cap here they have that, even if it is a pyramid, they're going to be able to pay it out for a little bit. So I started getting more involved and really grew to like the model. And I think the team who developed it are really smart. They're actually genius in the model they developed. And I think BitConnect is the leader in the industry, of course.
Yeah.
And they're the exact model that I'm emulating with BitConnect Growth Bot, except they don't have a bot that I know of. And I said to myself, I have a trading algorithm. I've spent years and years and years developing this, and it's fantastic. And using an algorithm that people really could know exists and see and is transparent, and putting that behind the lending model, this is going to be great. This is going to be explosive, because the business model is amazing. The only problem is you don't know if they're going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. But the next question, I mean, is something that we already talked about, but I want to hear again from you. The question is this bot real? Does it exist?
Right. So the first thing I did was, I mean, the plan was in early January to go ahead and launch the bot so that people could see it as a proof of work and that it exists.
Yeah.
But since I canceled the ICO and had such a successful pre-sale, I launched it right away. So that was a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ahead of schedule. And you know, people could see the performance of the bot being tracked in real time through a third-party website that's verifying it from the broker. So you have two third parties involved, the website that's tracking the bot, and then the broker that I'm using, who they're reading the statement of to track the bot. What I did today, actually, and it's really exciting, Franco, is I just put together a video so people could actually help understand what those performance stats of the bot are. And while doing that, I also went and showed it actually operating on MetaTrader 4.
Yeah.
And then I also went and showed the code of the bot. And of course, I kept some of the code itself hidden, but I was showing that it's there and that it exists and what it is. The bot exists, it's real, and it's going to be there today and tomorrow.
That's cool. I mean, the video is on your Telegram channel, isn't it?
You know what? We have we're growing a close community.
Yeah.
We're growing the BitcoinGrowthBot's organically before we have the lending program operational, and we do this crazy big marketing campaign.
Sure.
Marketing transparent bot that you could see in a lending program. It's going to be huge. So the first thing I did was I'm building this community that everyone who's, you know, early adopters of Nucleus, they're really invested in the project, and I released a rough draft of this video to them, and you could see it right now in the Telegram group. And then I was asking for advice on what they liked and what they didn't, so I could make a final draft to release to the public.
Yeah, so I recommend to all my subscribers to sign up in this Telegram group, because you can find a lot of good news and interesting things about this project. So, said this, I want to speak about the bot itself. I mean, I know that you can't enter in details about how it works to avoid that someone can copy you. But if you can answer, this is my question. Can you tell us in a general way how the bot works, if it uses technique analysis and indicators like stochastic, RSI, or MICD?
That's right. I do go to great lengths to protect this algorithm, you know, including with the broker itself, because I don't trust anybody, right? They're going to see something producing, you know, 7-12% a month, and they're going to want it, right? So I have ways to hide my orders from them, so they don't know exactly what's going on, and I take every caution possible. But I can, Franco, of course, with you and your viewers, discuss what the algorithm is doing in a broad strokes, right? So it is using an indicator. Actually, I had several years ago, I had developed a proprietary indicator called the true trend. And what the true trend is doing is the most difficult thing in trading is seeing when a new trend is beginning and when an existing trend is ending. Because if you know that, it makes your life much easier. So I developed this indicator that does exactly that. And this algorithm is using that indicator. And then what it's doing is looking when price movements are really short term, overbought or oversold, right? If price is shooting up, it's then looking for other criteria to decide, you know what, that's it. And it's looking to take a position. And it trades both long and short almost equally, right? It's not married to one side or the other. And many in the crypto sector are very familiar what happens when cryptocurrencies over a day or two get really overbought, right? You see a currency go up 30 or 40%, and then the fear of missing out kicks in, and you buy it, and then the next day it's down 20%. It's a similar concept, only in the currency market.
Yeah, okay, I understand. So, does the bot operate on Forex or on cryptocurrencies market?
Sure. Now, the name of the bot is BitcoinGrowthBot, right? And so why is it trading the Forex currency markets? Well, the project was outlined in the beginning as this is a way to access the cryptocurrency markets through the foreign exchange and use an algorithm called the BitcoinGrowthBot to trade currencies, right? Now, Bitcoin is, I'm transferring in my Bitcoin to the broker, and I'm trading actually Bitcoin as the base currency with the broker. That's how I'm growing my BitcoinGrowthBot. And I'm trading currencies with that because it's just, I mean, Forex is considered volatile itself, but in comparison to the crypto markets, it's a little baby, you know? And what we're looking for is more stable price movement as opposed to wild swings. And it can trade, you know, like the US dollar Bitcoin or the US dollar versus Ethereum or Litecoin, a multitude of cryptocurrencies, but that's not the right thing to do because it's not, you've seen, you know, we see 10-20% swings all the time. It's just too volatile.
So what we are saying is that you use Bitcoins to refund your account in the broker, and then with Bitcoins you trade on Forex market because it's more stable and less volatility.
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah, okay. So about the BitcoinGrowthBot, tell us the key points of your project and why should I invest in BitcoinGrowthBot and not in the others lending program, considering that monthly interests that you offer are lower?
Right. So, you know, Franco, that's a great point. You're hearing two things. Well, should I just invest in Bitcoin because Bitcoin is going to, you know, keeps going up? But that's not true, as we've seen over the last 2 days where, you know, Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies have periods of consolidating where they're chopping around for periods of time to these huge breakouts, as well as huge declines. There have been periods where Bitcoin has been down for 14, 15 months, month over month. Right? And the BitcoinGrowthBot is producing a steady return of 7 to 12%, right? So that's attractive because you have to diversify yourself. You can't keep all your money in one cryptocurrency, and you need diversification. If you're having something that's paying interest rates of 7 to 12%, that's enormous. But Jordan, you know, you have other lending platforms like BitConnect paying 25% a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that point, and that's great. But have you ever seen the website go offline, and then you're wondering, wait, are they coming back online? Or, you know, everyone's saying it's a pyramid scheme. Is the pyramid over? I don't know, and I don't know either. That's the thing. You just don't know. And, you know, I hope it never happens. I hope that, you know, when Mt. Gox crashed, it was a terrible thing for the whole cryptocurrency markets in general, right?
Yes.
You know, it's a black mark. And if that happens with, you know, the more lending programs that fail, it doesn't look good. And that's why I added the transparency. That's because the crypto sector needs it so much. It's so important that you could see who is behind the project, not some anonymous team. And you could see that if they say that it's a lending program using a trading bot, you could see that the bot exists, so that when you go to bed at night, you know that tomorrow it's going to be there.
Yeah.
7 to 12% over something that's going to be, you know, month over month and year over year, it's going to add enormous value, enormous appreciation. And that's why, because you know it's real and you know it's going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah. Great. So, another question. What about the profits of the bot? Are they used to improve the project?
Sure, that's my main goal, is improving the project. And clearly, because the more that the platform and the project and the community improve, the greater the value of Nucleus token and the greater the value of the company, right? My tokens, the team's tokens, are locked up for over a year, for a year, which means that it's in my only interest to make sure that this is a huge success. And what that means is, in everything I do, is doing what's best for the platform, for the users. So, for example, we had a hugely successful pre-sale, and I realized we don't need to have an ICO and to dilute the market with more tokens. And right away, I said to everyone, you know what? Those tokens are being burnt, 4.9 million of them. I could have kept them and sold them, you know, at a different time, but, you know, I want to do what's best for the platform. The only right thing to do, if you're not selling them in an ICO, is to burn them. We burnt them. And that's going to continue every step of the way along the project. All I'm going to do is do whatever is best. To answer your question directly, you know, you, Franco, if you lend your tokens, your Nucleus to the bot, you're receiving all the interest that the bot makes. The company's not receiving it.
Okay.
Now, other funds that the company has, and it's diversifying its funds, and it's using the algorithm to trade company funds, that money is going to go towards whatever is the best interest of the company to create greater value. Now,
so I mean, is your interest that the value of the token will be higher in the future, and this is also, of course, our interest. So what you are seeking, what your main goal is, that the token will increase its value, and this is how you will use your profit to make all the project better in the way that the token will be better in future.
Sure. So, you know, I'm so surprised. One thing that I'm surprised about in this project is this community that's developing around it.
Yeah.
Because people see that my interest is in the platform, from the actions that I've taken and what I've done. And what they're doing is now they're investing their time and themselves into this project as well, right? And that's the goal, is to make that continue and snowball and snowball and snowball. Because you know what? We haven't even begun marketing this. And once the lending program is open and people see that they have this real trading bot in the lending program, and it's got a couple of months of history, this is gonna be great. Everyone's gonna want to be involved. And we're going to have this huge, close-knit community of people invested who are promoting it. My only interest is in this being successful, and not just a long-term success.
Yeah.
You know, I have no idea what I do know, and why I got involved in it, is that the cryptocurrency markets in general are headed to become multi-trillion-dollar markets, for sure. And I thought it was going to happen by 2020. It looks like it's going to happen a lot sooner, as in 2018. So I have no idea what tomorrow is going to bring as far as the value of Nucleus. But I do know that if I invest everything I have into it, it's going to be far greater than I ever anticipated or imagined. That's exactly where my heart is.
So that's really interesting. But I wanted to ask you also, are you alone or have you a team?
Oh, I started this project alone. I did all the research. I developed the model for the platform. I went ahead and wrote the white paper. I then developed the site. I launched the successful pre-sale with all the work that went along with it. And as your viewers know, most pre-sales they try to participate in is really difficult. If they're lucky to even get some tokens and they have a question and they write support, most of the time you're not going to hear an answer. I answer all support questions within 24 hours, handle everything that needed to be done, responded to everyone. I'm involved in the chat group myself every day. So you could see that the amount of work that is spent every day is enormous, and one person doing that. And of course now I have help as far as other investors and participants who want to see this succeed. But as far as what's needed now, now we're at the next phase of the project, right? And the next phase is that the back end needs to be developed and the lending program launched, right? Yeah. And the goal for that is to get that done by February. If it can happen sooner, of course it will, but the goal is February.
Sure.
So right now I'm in the process of reaching out to very close friends, very successful friends, chief technology officers of multi-million-dollar companies, and asking them, explaining the project to them in detail, and having them put together the proper job description that speaks the language of developers. And then they're going to help me actually go over all the resumes and CVs of these people to find out who's the best fit and most qualified. It's a difficult time right now with the holidays right here and the new year, but that's why we're doing what's needed to be done and reviewing these resumes. I'm going to find that person so that we're ready on time to build this as it needs to be built, because I do need help now.
Yeah.
And now it's the time.
Thank you. So one last question. How do you see the future of a BitcoinGrowthBot? For example, will you start a marketing campaign, or what do you think is the real value of each token?
Yeah, so you know, the pre-sale started at with the bonuses included at like 41 cents a token, and now it's trading at you know, 80 cents to $1, which is fantastic, and I think that's a fair value. Why? Because anyone who's investing right now in the platform is an early adopter. Early adopters take on the greatest risk and have the greatest reward, right? So at this price, I myself, it's a great price to accumulate, right? Because everyone involved knows that there is an actual trading bot. They've seen it now, right? Yeah. Not only that, they're seeing it performing for a couple of weeks, and they're like, wow, this is great. They see me every day involved in the project, and they're getting to know who I am. They're really supportive of that. So what's going to happen is once we launch the actual lending program, that's when the marketing is going to really start. Why? Because now, if I do marketing now, that's great. But if I'm marketing an actual working lending program with a real transparent bot, it's going to catch on fire. So what we're doing is we're developing this community in support of the project. We're working on it every day and we're growing it. We're going to have the lending program working and functionable. And then 2 months of this bot trading live, you know, the history, and then we're going to start a huge marketing campaign. And that's when we're going to start to see some really big growth.
Sure. So
and I expect that growth to continue, Franco. And, you know, I'm all about slow and steady. This is not a pump and dump scheme whatsoever. My tokens are in a visible wallet that everyone has the link to. They're not to be touched. So I'm looking to bring, you know, I want to see triple digit, you know, nucleus, you know, value. That's what I want to see, of course. And then much, much more. So what I think is going to happen is I do think one day we're seeing a lot of other lending programs shut down, a lot launch an ICO, and then you never hear from them again. and others then fail, and you know that's going to continue. And I think that as more and more fail, and if one of the big ones do fail, at that point we're going to have some serious history behind us, and we're going to see a huge influx of capital. You know, and you know that's going to be that. Well, that's great. That's how it should be. People need to see transparency in the crypto market, and that's going to be rewarded.
Yeah, I see that your point of view is clear. So that was my last question, and I want again to thank you so much for answering to my question. I'm grateful to have this conversation with you. I think we have been able to clarify my subscribers' question. So now I wish you good Christmas holiday to you, to your family, and what we have to say, we said. So thank you and see you.
Thank you, Franco. I appreciate it so much. Please, I take all the insight and advice of the whole community. So your viewers who are participating in this project, you know what, Franco, in a couple of weeks, let's get together and talk again so we could find out the comments they had.
Yeah, okay, perfectly. So have a good day and see you. Bye.
Bye, Franco.
Bye. I don't want to add anything more than what you already watched. The only thing that I want to say is that the transparency of this project is clear. And I want to say also one other last thing, that this video costed to me a lot of work. I needed to translate everything in Italian, and for each 2 minutes I needed 1 hour of work, for a total of 13 hours of translation. So if you liked this video, if you like this exclusive content, this exclusive video of my channel, I ask you to subscribe. Simply click the button below. So wish you good Christmas holiday and have a good evening.